Este es un punto que los mapuches estamos trabajando y promoviendo por la restitución de las tierras que fueron tomadas, confiscadas y ocupadas.
This is a demand of the Mapuche that we are moving forward in our arguments and our presentation in the world community for the restitution of lands that have been taken illegally, confiscated illegally, or occupied illegally.
Y una tercera cuestión que viene a revocar la doctrina del descubrimiento en base al derecho internacional es el derecho a la libre determinación.
Another point where we can now say that the doctrine of discovery is under the pressure of revocation by the institutionalization of the right of self-determination for indigenous peoples. Once again, the Declaration.
Porque la libre determinación nuestros antepasados lo ejercieron, pero la era colonial y la era republicana lo conculcaron, lo anularon, lo prescribieron.
Because the history is very clear to have it known that it is known that the Mapuche nation exercised their self-determination fully, even with treaties, but it was through the imposition of the colonial states that self-determination right has been under a system of oppression.
Hoy todos los pueblos indígenas, los mapuches, los onondagas, somos titulares del derecho a la libre determinación.
Now all indigenous nations, original nations of indigenous peoples, are recognized as with the right of self-determination. Onondagas, Mapuches.
En este sentido, los mapuches estamos trabajando para darle forma al derecho a libre determinación, para implementarla.
So now we are at the point of the argument has already been given, made, and acknowledged and recognized. It's a matter of it being respected. This is the work that the Mapuche nation is engaged with internationally, nationally, in their territory to implement the right of self-determination, to implement the right of self-determination.
Y estoy aquí para saber si hay más pueblos indígenas que están explorando rutas para implementar el derecho a la libre determinación.
So we are on a mission now, as indigenous nation Mapuche, to make the friendly relations and diplomatic ties with other indigenous nations that are along the same trajectory of moving towards the full implementation of the full right of self-determination as original nations of indigenous peoples.
Porque han pasado más de 10 años de la vigencia de la declaración y hay pocos pueblos que están trabajando para edificar, para darle forma a la libre determinación.
Because now we are 10 years into the adoption of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, but there's very few indigenous nations that are moving towards the implementation and the exercise of the right of self-determination, even though it's on paper.
Los mapuches nos preguntamos en el sur, ¿por qué ha pasado una década y no hay pueblo que le ha dado forma a la libre determinación?
We ask this question to ourselves and to the world. Why is it that 10 years after the declaration, still we don't see an indigenous nation taking their place in the world community in full exercise of the right of self-determination?
Disponemos del derecho más alto que gozan los pueblos. No hay más derecho más alto que el derecho a la libre determinación.
This is fundamental and of essential nature, of the highest nature, that we must prioritize the right of self-determination.
Y cuando nos queremos explicar la realidad, lo único que podemos decir que el colonialismo y la domesticación, sea chilena, norteamericana, peruana o boliviana, han dañado la voluntad de los indígenas.
And so to look at it for what it is, it must be said that colonialism, as it persists today, through the mechanisms of the states, has violated and is violating the right of self-determination of indigenous peoples as we are here today.
Y quiero decirle a usted, informarle, que en algún momento los mapuches en el sur de este continente vamos a anunciar, hoy formamos un gobierno.
We are letting you know now here that you will carry this message from the Mapuche. At some point, you will see it. The Mapuche nation are standing up as a nation, and they will stand up as a self-governing nation. They will be standing up their own government government of Mapuche Nation for international recognition.
Y un gobierno que actúe en el mundo multilateral, en el mundo universal, no intracomunitario. El derecho a la libre determinación se tiene que ejercer hacia afuera, hacia el exterior, en el mundo multilateral.
Our vision is our place in the multilateral relationship world, where we would take our place among the nations of the Mother Earth and interact with all of the other nations of the world as well, not only restricted to a domestic construct of Chile or Argentina, but multilateral and international.
Y me gustaría anunciar que cuando formemos ese gobierno, los Onondaga reciban nuestra delegación diplomática de Mapuche para que reconozcan el derecho a libre determinación que vamos a ejercer los mapuches del sur.
And so we are here to do the preliminary steps of friendly relations and diplomacy among our nations so that when this eventuality takes place, the nation of Mapuche reveals itself to the world once again. One of the first acts will be to ask of the Onondaga to establish a relationship and a recognition with the Mapuche formally, internationally, in a multilateral
Proceso de cooperación y acompañamiento para la libre determinación.
My mission here as a Mapuche Huilcaman spokesperson for the Mapuche Nation is to establish the relationships with our sister nations here in the north of cooperation and accompaniment as we journey on this path of self-determination together.
Y un último asunto que quiero compartir sobre los tratados.
And now about the treaties to close.
Yo decía inicialmente que estoy aquí porque los Onondaga tienen tratados y los Mapuche también tenemos tratados con el sistema hispano y con la República de Chile.
I began by telling you that we also have treaties, like the Onondaga have treaties. Our treaties are with Spain and with the Chilean state.
Hoy día los tratados están reconocidos en dos normas de derecho internacional.
Today there exist two norms in international law that recognize the status of these treaty rights.
En la Declaración de Naciones Unidas
In the UN Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples
y en la Declaración Americana